Hey everyone, it's the 1st of June. It's a new month, 2023. It's Thursday. This is Plutus PBL live coding. We get together twice a week, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 14:30 UTC. Really want to encourage anybody who's catching this video later to think about joining us. There's a URL at plutuspbl.io/live coding where you can find links to upcoming meetings and also links to recordings of previous meetings. If you are watching, we hope that you'll drop by and start experimenting with us. We have a regular agenda for this session, but I just wanted to share a few practical updates. First of all, I mentioned yesterday, I won't be able to facilitate live coding next week. I will be running a live STIP 1694 workshop and finishing prep for that. But this meeting link works without an administrator. Okay, so if anybody wants to open up this call and get together as usual, feel free to do that. And if anybody wants to take on facilitation of the meeting or record it, just drop a sticky right here or speak up or share in the chat. And this would be just a way of coordinating with each other. If you want to use that time, it's always an option to meet informally in Discord. And we'll pick it up as usual. I'll be ready to jump back into this stuff on Wednesday, June 14th. But anybody have questions about next week or just want to share with the rest of the group here that you'd like to get together one way or another? Cool. We've got the Gimbal Labs Discord where people can coordinate, and yeah, feel free to use this meeting link. It will work. I double checked for anybody who wants to drop in.
Can you drop the meeting link in the chat?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Because every time I come in, I can normally come in through the calendar, and then I have to go through the registration, and it sits there waiting for somebody to start it.
That sounds like me with Town Hall. Yeah. Cool. This one should work, and we can double check this. Maybe we could try right after this, at the end of this call, somebody can try opening this meeting without me, and we can make sure it works as expected. We'll pick it up on June 14th and go through August in this current format. But I think, it's normal that for anybody, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, things slow down a little bit in the summer. I hope that people take a break at some point. I know that I have a few weeks where I'm looking forward to taking a little bit of time off. So it'll be a little bit inconsistent with who's here through August. We expect that, but you can count on these sessions continuing, and whoever shows up is the right people, and we'll do what we do each of those days. We're also going to cancel Gimbal Labs Playground for the summer because we're following an academic calendar and run what we're going to call the summer carnival at usual playground time. And the real goal of carnival is just going to be a chance for people to build in public and meet together. So for example, one thing I'm excited to do in a summer carnival tent, right? You can imagine maybe where you throw the balls and try to knock over the beer bottles. I'd like to just play in public with the new Catalyst testnet stuff that was announced at Town Hall yesterday. Maybe even touch it for the first time together in a space like this, and just see what that feels like to explore brand new things together. Okay. Erez.
Yeah, hey everyone. I just want to say that I nominate Mix for next week for facilitating. He's always got good stuff to teach.
I could listen to Mix, that would just be a great 40 hours a week. It would really work. We can't see him, but he's blushing, I think.
I'd second that. Mix would be great.
The professor. Then, as we all know, the goal of this course is to support people to become contributors, and development is not the only way to contribute. So I just want to put out a first call to action This is one we will make again, and we'll make it more formally with rewards on mainnet when the time is right. But if anybody wants to start playing around as a Gimbal Labs YouTube editor, just hit me up on Discord and I can add you as an editor there. That allows you to do things like throw playlists together or upload a recording from a meeting that's not live streamed, or even to add bookmarks to videos that exist so future students can find the resources they need. This is an example of something I would really like to get Catalyst funding for. I think it's a worthwhile, it'd be really nice to have a treasury that supported people, even symbolically, to be just starting to contribute to this work. So just know that this is a long-term goal, but for anybody who wants to start playing around with it, just be in touch. And the other thing that, in a similar vein, there's going to come a time when it's really important to be keeping the modules, or the 100 and 200 level modules, up to date with recent changes. Errors surfaced that the Aiken tutorial is out of date in lesson 101.5, for example. So I didn't quite have time to finish some updates to that, but I'll push those changes by the end of today. But this is a place where if you start to see that something's out of date, I would like to start creating systems for people to help, and these are somewhere in between being a hardcore developer and just understanding enough development, right, to make these sorts of contributions. So open invite, no pressure to do anything now, but if you want to start thinking about this, door is open for this. Any questions about any of these high-level updates? All right. Thanks for letting me have the mic there for just a minute to share those. What's everyone to do today? I think there's a few exciting things. Transaction metadata is absolutely something we can look at together. I'll drag this right in. What else? Anybody want to share updates about what you're currently working on in the course? Have there been any sticky points that you've hit? We were just able to get started yesterday with Faizan helping us look at module 204. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, one thing's just sprung to mind. The file name for the Plutus TX contract is wrong. It's got Plutus TX in it twice.
In which lesson?
Now you're asking.
Oh.
I looked at it and thought, I've got to say something about that, but it's in the 100s somewhere.
Okay.
It's where you're first. It's where you're first building the.
We compile our first, like the always succeeds Plutus script.
Yeah. It's where you're building that. And it's the file names. There's a list of file names with the different.
Like the result, maybe it's in the summary here.
Now there's a list of the 3 different script file names.
Let me know if you find it. Yeah, I could search for it, but if you can find it offline, just let me know. We can make those changes. And anybody's also welcome to just submit merge requests to this repo where the course is being hosted. I can grab that link. But yeah, it's likely there's also just typos from the fast pace at which this course was first developed. But it's exciting to be refining it together. And I've got a few things I'm excited to look at eventually. But I think these are great places to start for today. Anybody else got ideas? Let's do a quick poll so we can build a transaction with metadata and make sure it works. We can look again at the faucet project and check in and make sure that that's working as expected. And I'm just going to set up a quick vote. This. We'll just take a minute for this one. One vote, two choices, 1 minute. And if you don't have access to Miro for whatever reason, just drop a number, 1 or 2, in the Zoom chat.
James, can you move the part that says voting session started? Because I can't see what the breakout room number 2 is. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
All right, looks like we got a little bit low turnout today, but I see 2 2s and a 1. Uh-oh, it's tied 2-2. Here. So what I'm gonna do, let me make a breakout room. I'll make 2 breakout rooms for anybody who wants to peel off and jump into one of these things specifically, but maybe here, I think we have enough time to run through metadata troubleshooting and then just to continue this initial exploration of the faucet. Okay. So I'm going to make one breakout room called metadata deep dive that people can use if they need to for any reason. Same thing for faucet deep dive. If you want to use those, they are now open. But here in the main room, let's just go through these 2 concepts in order. Now on the metadata transaction, does anybody want to share screen and lead us through where you're at right now on that?
Yeah, I can do that. Give me 2 minutes. I'll start the meter.
Cool, excellent. And Harsha, was this your breakout room?
It was, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, awesome. Did anybody see the news that Demeter now has a hosted Marlowe instance as well?
What does that mean? Like, what are the implications?
It basically means I actually haven't run Marlowe locally in a long time, certainly not since it's been on mainnet for the last few days. But there will always be some process for setting up a developer environment, right? And I think it's going to be, I shouldn't promise, I think should be slightly more accessible to get Marlowe running than maybe a full-fledged Plutus dev environment, but we have to check. But what we know is whatever that process is, Demeter will also do it for you. Excellent. So those last two parts fail because the building part failed. Okay. And so when we look at the message for why the building part failed, what do we see? Change address has an unexpected dash. Okay. Well, so you've got this the shell script open here. And this is, speak up if this is still new to you, but basically what we're trying to do is provide both a script that makes things a little bit easier to do rather than needing to cut and paste everything, which I think is a great place to start. Newman has done a great job in a couple of sessions over the last few weeks demonstrating that. But at a certain point, I hope everybody would prefer to move past that approach. And we felt like this was a good time to really provide scripts. Now, even with that said, we can still read through this script and hopefully find the transaction we're building. Okay, so look for where Cardano CLI first shows up, line 65. And then you can see that we're building out this transaction just by running each of these steps. And I'll remind you, a bash script is just kind of a linear recipe of things to do. And it just goes through from top to bottom and it does each of those things. And so even that kind of pseudo interactivity that you see, where it delays for a moment, where it says signing transaction and submitting, the only reason it does that is because on line 81, for example, there's that sleep one, which just makes it wait for a second before it does the next thing, to give you a little bit of the experience that something's like bubbling up under the hood, okay? Totally unnecessary, arbitrary. So what we really want to look at is the build step on line 65 to 72. And what we know from the error message is that it looks like something's wrong with the change address. Unexpected dash. So where could that be coming from? Let's look for a moment at where address is defined. You see we're using the address variable on line 69. Okay. And it allowed you to choose a UTXO correctly. So that seems good. Why would change address? Is this the same message you got last time? Yeah. Can you add a line in between line 63 and 65? And let's just echo space $ address, that address variable. We see it above, so it seems like it should work. And just remove one of those D's. So it knows on line 64. All right, run this again and let's go step by step and make sure that each of these things is happening. Oh, and actually, you know what, before we run it again, can you also add a line in between 64 and 65 that says echo TX in? And we'll just make sure that each of those variables is coming through like it's supposed to. All right, let's run the script again and see what happens. Okay. So underneath where it says building transaction up above, let's see, I see that we have, here we go. Look, you see how it says option change address. Above that, we see a good transaction hash. That's good. But notice there's a blank line in between, right directly above the transaction hash, which is where we expected the address to be echoed, but there's nothing being echoed there. And that would explain why change address is throwing an error. We're not actually passing an address. So why? If you scroll up,
That right there. I mean,
yeah,
15.
line 15, something. So we pass the wallet as a parameter. That seems to work. And we even query the wallet. We are able to successfully choose a UTXO from it. But why isn't line 15 working? Interesting.
Forgive me, but what's cat do again?
It basically it prints the contents of a file.
Right. And so basically this prints the contents of the file at the wallet path plus payment.addr.
Mm-hmm. Harsha, can you go up in the terminal to where you entered the wallet path?
Oh, Harsha, what did you do?
It asks you at some point for a wallet. Here you go. You can actually go down. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's good. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? This is a naive bash command that is getting like the full path to that wallet, and it's not working with how the Demeter file system is set up. So we need to change. Let's do this. So you're in a bash scripts directory, right? That in order to get from the location of this bash script to your pre-prod wallet, you would have to basically go up one directory to repo and then back into the PPBL 2023 directory and then into my new pre-prod wallet. Yeah, but you still have to run the script, right? So try this. Try going back into the bash scripts folder and run everything again. But use when it asks you for a wallet path, try what I just dropped in the chat right here, and we'll see if this makes a difference. Okay, so this is a relative path instead of an absolute path.
Nice. Okay, so
Nope, that didn't work. Okay, you see how, so actually, that's interesting. It's still
It's a typo in the address. He spelt it pre-pod, not pre-prod.
Oh.
look at you. Oh man.
I've spent 77 hours banging my head against typos exactly like that, probably in the last year.
Wow.
I don't know. It's a loose estimate.
Okay,
Nice.
what's Martin says something in the chat here?
Yeah. Where,
I-
Martin, where would you add that line?
At the top,
Okay.
just
Yeah,
try
let's
it for a change.
Yeah, let's try it. So like right under
You will-
line one.
You will see what happens then, and it's very nice to have. Sometimes.
Yeah, let's try that.
We're at the very top of where?
Like a
Your
line
bash just after hash bang user bin and bash.
Line 2 in the
Yeah, line 2. Yeah.
What are we adding?
Yeah, in the chat, it's just set space dash X.
Yeah, set minus X.
Oh,
It's like it's the debug mode, SET, not SA. It's the debug mode of bash.
Cool. Nice. And
okay.
you can save these changes, and then back in the terminal, you can type Control-C to just exit the script that's running and start it again with this updated version.
Oh, okay.
And Harsh, just press the up arrow to run your previous command again. There you go. Oh,
So you see now a lot of extra stuff, but all the variables are inserted into your, it basically echoes everything. So you can
okay.
really read what it's doing. So here you can see also export node socket path
Mhm.
is path 2. So maybe there's something wrong there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That step is actually unnecessary on Demeter. I think we probably will want to have slightly different scripts.
You see, it will now show you everything that the bash is doing. Sometimes it's too much. but sometimes it's just nice to read through everything. Because yeah, it's like watching a black box spit something out. That is also, I think, for me, that is always very annoying, just trying and trying and trying, instead of just, it's a script, so everything is linear, so you can just follow what it's doing.
So the plus is telling what the command is, and then the without a plus is what is printed, or yeah, what's printed to the screen. So plus echo, and yeah, okay, cool. It's like getting it's a debugging mode set.
Yeah,
Got minus X.
yeah, I like to use it. So after lots of trying and trying, and sometimes you read something, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, but fixing the typo, did it work?
I think we have to make sure to add the wallet path as a command line argument. And we didn't have it because you can see that wallet was undefined a few lines above in the terminal.
Scroll up to see
Where it says plus wallet equals blank. We just got to make sure to throw a
okay.
path in there.
So close this one down and start it up again, and then give it the wallet address.
I think so. Yeah, maybe Control C again, and let's run it again. It shouldn't pause here. Oh, that's fine. Okay, because then you'll enter. Okay, sorry, that's my fault for reading the debug mode wrong. We could try it again. Okay, all right, so this read -N1 -S line is just a way of pausing until the user presses enter.
That's the sleep command.
Tap any key to continue. Okay, we see our metadata. Okay, now enter the wallet directory. Good. And try what I put in the chat a few minutes ago, the .PBL23. Okay, that's good. Okay, this time, did we get a different error maybe? No, change address still isn't coming through. And if you scroll up a little bit further, we see.
Yeah, here you can also see the complete Cardano CLI with every value inserted. So that is very nice too.
Good.
So you don't have to go search for which one.
So yeah, once again, it's still echoing a transaction hash correctly, but it's not echoing an address correctly. I see underneath where it says sleep 1. It then says plus echo nothing, and that's the address not coming through. Why? We gave it a wallet path. Anybody got ideas here? I'm not sure what we're missing.
Is the wallet path set correctly?
Maybe not. Is this PBL directory? We're in bash scripts. Can you scroll up to the top of your file explorer, Harsh? We're in the bash scripts directory, and that's on the same level. Can you close that bash scripts directory for a moment? That's on the same level as this PPBL 2023, so that looks good. I knew pre-prod.
You can try to add a $home in uppercase before the wallet. Then the bash should navigate to the home directory. and navigate to that wallet path, because Harsh is inputting the whole path to that directory and not just from his current location.
So they're on line 15, maybe?
Yeah, on line 15. Before the $ wallet. No, before the wallet variable. Yeah, before the $. Add $, home in uppercase,
And then
backslash. Yeah. No space. The same you did after wallet. The backslash. No, after home, the backslash.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Home variable is just the home directory of your bash shell. That's if you type it on your computer, you just get something like directory where everything, your home directory, it's the same as the home directory in your files, in your directories.
yeah.
And
And then-
that's what we're getting when Harsha, can you copy like you did the my new pre-prod wallet path? And just to show us that, just paste it here, because I think we will see. Yeah, just paste it in the terminal so we can look at it. That says config.
So this is some Demeter.
Yeah, like where this script was written to be run locally, but Demeter, because of the amazing service it provides, it's running a bunch of sub machines on one machine, and so we're not going to have the same.
But I think at least in concept, Adrian's like the home variable should work, because then it gets us to an agreed upon location in the file structure. Could we echo home and see what home is telling us it
I
is?
already did that right here. Config.
Oh man, this guy is smart. Think alike. Okay.
And this is best practice. If a script you're writing isn't working, what we're able to do is just test a couple of different commands directly in the terminal until we get one that does what we want it to do.
Nice.
So what's our end goal now? It's to successfully get the payment address.
Yeah.
So let's try to do that from this directory with a single line command. Okay, so down in your terminal, we can just delete this path for the moment. And let's try to write a command that says cat and some path to this payment file, right? Like really what we want to do is how can I cat this payment address from here, right? And so first let's try it this way, just by saying copy path like you've been doing. Yeah, exactly. And what does this give us? All right, that works, right?
Oh.
So something about the way we're passing the wallet path along hasn't yet been working, but it looks fine right here. And so we can also say, we can now say like the entire line would be all caps address. Or it doesn't have to be all caps. This is just an easy way to distinguish variables. Equals $, parentheses, and then everything you just used on the previous command, right? Inside parentheses, this cat config workspace file path. And here, use a
I forget
bracket.
what is parentheses? Is it like double quote?
It's brackets. It's like
Oh, it's
open and
brackets, okay.
close. Yeah, sorry.
And then that
Did you say the path or the address? What did you say?
Your entire previous command, cat path.
oh, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the address part though, just the top part. To all the way to add payment.add adder.
Exactly.
So try that, yeah, and then echo address, echo $ address.
Exactly. Okay. So this
Ah,
looks good too. So another thing we can just do, let's just hack around with this script, right? Instead of providing your wallet path in the kind of interactive prompt, let's get rid of where it prompts you for the wallet address.
just hard code it in.
Exactly. Okay, and so we can do this a little farther up top. Where it says wallet on line 13. Just change the $1 to that path /config workspace repo, etc. All the way through my new pre-prod wallet. Yeah. And what we would expect now is if we don't use the home, because that's what we looked at what that gives us. It just gives us the config part, but we've already got that now in our wallet path. So on line 15, you can remove the $home /bit. But keep the $wallet. Yeah, because right, we just defined what wallet is on line 13. It's exactly what worked down here in your terminal. And now it shouldn't prompt us to input a wallet path, but let's go find that line just a little bit below line 30. There should be. Okay, yeah, we're not, oh, right, the prompting comes from the sub function choose wallet UTXO, which is a separate file that's provided. But we'll skip looking at that for now. Let's just try this like this. I think hopefully this works. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. We've got an address now. That's good. We can choose a UTXO.
Submitting.
Ah, okay, we have a new error. That's good.
Oh,
That's good. Let's find out what the error was now. Ooh, fun. Okay. You see down below, there's a plus sign, and then it says Cardano CLI transaction build. And then it says command failed. All right, why did the command fail? This is a good one. This is a good error because if we're missing the protocol JSON file, we can just pull it down. So that's nice. Now, I don't want to overly complicate things, but it's worth mentioning on the newest version of Cardano Node and Cardano CLI, this version 8 that came out a couple weeks ago, there's now a message when you use Cardano CLI transaction build that tells you that including the protocol file is no longer necessary. That's a really nice thing. This is a nice incremental improvement because, yeah, it goes without saying that I need the protocol parameters to build an appropriate transaction, right? But that step had not yet been abstracted away yet. I think on Demeter, we're still using a prior version of Cardano CLI, but let's check that right now. So can you go and just type Cardano CLI -- version so we know what Demeter is running for us? Version 135.4, right? This is a couple of versions ago. It still works, which is great, right? But if we want to include metadata, I think we still have to include the protocol JSON file. So let's just pull it down. And there's a Cardano CLI command for that as well. So you can use Cardano CLI. We're going to query the protocol -parameters. And we need them for pre-prod, so space -- testnet magic 1.
James, I thought the script also pulled it down itself.
It does, but there's a little bit that's not working perfectly, and so we could troubleshoot those scripts on Demeter eventually. But let's start by seeing if we can get this to work. Yeah, right. Like this should do it for us. But later we'll come back and troubleshoot why if we can get this to work.
Yeah, but it's not looking in this folder anyway for it.
Yeah, for some reason, right? All right, those are the protocol params, but remember that our transaction build is expecting these params to have been saved in a file called protocol.json. So just run the same command again. Press the up arrow once in your terminal. And add to the end of this command --out file. And then we'll call it protocol JSON because that's what our transaction build is expecting. We could call it foo.json and change what our transaction build expects, right? But this is just a standard way of doing it. All right, and we saw this yesterday also when we queried UTXOs, right? You can see it directly in your terminal, or you can save it to an out file. All right, let's try running the script again.
You save the output file as protocol.json just so that, and because that's where that error was saying that there's no protocol thing. Okay.
Because when we build the transaction, that's the name we told it to look for, right? But we can tell it to look for any parameters file.
Okay. And it looks like,
all right, so same thing is happening here.
yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah.
File paths for some reason. Good. Now this is great troubleshooting. I was not aware that these scripts were not going to be friendly on Demeter, so this is good intel.
Did something change on Demeter? Has anyone gone through with Demeter and gotten these same things? That's kind of what I'm curious about. Anyone here of the 11
I
that are
think
with us?
Faizan uses Demeter, so maybe
Yeah.
he has an idea.
I used Demeter only, but this I haven't got yet.
Interesting. It could be. I wonder. Hmm.
I'm wondering what's the advantage to using Demeter over Nix if you have the Nix setup already.
It's looking for the file in transactions folder. My new brought wallet transactions. Huh?
Oh,
Uh,
wait, but where? No, hold on. This, right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's looking for protocol in the transactions folder. What?
Oh, is that a surprise?
Why is
for
it
you?
looking? Yeah, why is it looking for it there? So in our transaction build,
That was my
protocol.
mistake. I put like the JSON path and that. Should I just change?
Excellent. Yeah, get rid of everything except the file name, protocol.json there. That makes sense. Because we just created this protocol JSON file in the bash scripts directory. So we should be able to just feed it a file name. All right, let's try again.
This should work.
Oh. You did it. Nice.
Okay.
All right, there's a million reasons for us not to share bash scripts, right? These things abstract away from you the chance to be really hands-on with these details, and it creates all sorts of just secondary errors that could happen. For example, like all of these things had nothing to do with your use of Cardano CLI. They just had to do with us getting all the file paths right.
And that's sort of a common, I mean, from the errors that I've gotten, that's sort of like a lot of it, like it's looking for something and it's not in the right spot, or there's, bad, user error, like that we didn't write it in the right format and whatnot. But that was interesting. So we just created what it wanted into the file. But what was that last one? What was it? Yeah, okay. But that's what it was. It's just figuring out how to get it on Demeter. And Erez was talking about Nix. And I'm still a tiny bit confused about what is Nix. Yeah. And I think I read somewhere where that it's a language, but not also an OS or a Demeter-y type service. Is that right?
There is an operating system, which is kind of just like Plutus and Haskell force us to think about a kind of different approach to development. Nix is a purely functional operating system, which leads to some initially mind-bending hoops you got to jump through in order to learn how to use it. But a lot of people we know, I've never fully taken the time to run Nix OS myself, but Alex Sarragan has, and there's been a few other people who have really gotten into it, and they say that it's pretty amazing once you're in it. Okay, and it's one of those beautiful communities of people who love what they do. For many of us, the Nix shell gives us the advantages of Nix package management, which is a beautiful concept. We don't have to go all the way deep into that right now, but a very interesting rabbit hole to understand how Nix package management works. And the reason this is a nice thing for smart contracts is that our goal is reproducibility. And Nix makes precise reproducibility a little bit easier to achieve.
And so and I think one of the takeaways from this walkthrough was that bash scripts are not reproducible. You know, they're not a container thing, because their abstraction is really close to the user. So they're there's an English word, Dan, kludgy. They're kludgy. It's like hacky or kludgy or something. They're sort of hacks, you know, in a way. If you want to build a real interface, that's not, you know, that's not necessarily. I always think of bash scripts as like, you know, something that I've hacked together to, like, because it works on my machine. You know, that's another one. You know, it's just, it works here. And so, thanks for taking us through that, Harsha. That's awesome.
Eric,
how would
Dan, go ahead.
Sorry, how would Nix handle bash scripts then? Because the whole point of having a Nix development environment is that it's reproducible. You can send somebody your Nix recipe, in effect, and they can put it on their computer, and Nix will go, I need all of this stuff, and go and grab all the bits it needs to put the recipe together to recreate what you've just told them or told it. But if you include bash scripts,
This is a good exercise. I mean, you can, if you are able to enter Nix shell on your local machine, you can run bash scripts inside of it. And it's kind of worth it to see that.
the professor has the answer. He's just stuck his hand up. Go, Mix.
Actually, Nix has really good features that you can define in that language. It's not a really programming language. It's like a configuration language. And within that, you can define an environment file for the bash. So imagine there is a file, inside it, we will put like hundreds of environment variables, which all those bash will need it. For example, we will run a command called pwd to get the current path. And then we will put it inside a variable. And then once the bash script, all of them going to run, they will just reference that environment variable. And within Nix configuration file, we can really write down that, hey, do this, first create this file, put this variable, and do this command, and, you know, like set up in an environment for that bash script. We have this opportunity with Nix to, before bash script start running, creating this environment file and environments setup, and then bash script will be fine in any other system, and we will kind of guarantee that reproducibility as well. So that's the trick. Within your Nix configuration, you need to define that bash configuration. And your Nix, while you are putting this command Nix shell or Nix OS or Nix develop, while doing all those things you will see on your screen, it will create that file. And once you run your bash, all of those bash will be referenced to that environment file. I've done that, but in other area, which I'm not using Nix, I just create this file, hand it out to other people and say, hey, this is the environment file, keep it, and then run this bash script. I hope I answer your question, by the way.
Brilliant. Yeah, very, very good description. It makes sense now, because that's why what Nix does, it controls the development environment.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you can control your bash environment inside it.
Yeah. I mean, I believe we call that Nix as a Nix package manager, but I call Nix as an environment manager before being a package manager, although it can be package manager as well.
The kind of two go together a bit, because you need, if you want to build a development environment, the chances are you're going to need all the same packages to create that. So the environment and the packages all need managing together, really.
And it's really become complicated because we are saying, okay, now there is an environment manager who is going to run some other environment manager who, for example, NPM, or, no, NVM. NVM is environment manager for NPM, for JavaScript. Or for example, for Haskell. Haskell, we have GHC and Cabal and Stack and so on. But there is something called GHC COP, which is a kind of environment manager for Haskell. So I don't know what will be the path, but really things became complicated. That there are tools that which run on other tools, and we will develop other tools to control these tools. But again, we will reach the complexity issue. Again, we will develop another tools to run these tools. So I don't know when this ends, but maybe AI will solve it, or somehow we'll get rid of it. But yeah, that's the issue. We had this NPM, then we came up with NVM, then we came up with Nix, and Nix wasn't enough. They came up with Nix OS, and now we have different flavor of Nix OS as well, because it's a Linux. We can just customize it. And now again, I'm pretty sure in coming years, you will see a tool to run Nix OS. So yeah, I don't know when it ends, but we'll see.
I know one way it will end, either in a supernova or a black hole. One of the two.
Yeah.
And I was just going to add, everyone's looking for meaning, right?
Yeah.
But maybe really AI is the answer. Like we will still rely on that say, hey, I want this environment, I want to be reproducible, and we won't have any configuration file. Imagine all this environment, everything will be just a simple prompt. And we will send this prompt to other people by just giving that prompt to an AI, that AI will set up everything, all the variable, all thing for you, without going all this hassle learning another language. And there is also another thing that Nix came, and Nix OS came and said, okay, I want to customize this. Flake came after that, and now there is this Flake inside it which do some other stuff. So you see, I believe really AI would be the answer, and prompts like talking. I want this environment exactly like this. I want this environment with this setup. Do it, and I don't care how you are going to do it, but make sure it is reproducible.
And then the real skill, the real SLT, student learning target, is knowing that, you know, when you need a reproducible environment and that you need these things done, you just speak your own language, and then there's this universal language converter kind of.
Yeah. The most important skills of all developers will be actually communication skills. How you talk to AI, and which is really sucks, you know. I have some friends, they are autistic. They don't like social contact. They are not good to talk with people. So I imagine we need to bring those nerds, those geeks, and force them, hey, you have to talk. You have to work on your speech. And you need to have a good conversation with your AI, with your machine. I don't know what will happen in that, but yeah, the communication skill would be really the most important skills, because if you create misunderstanding, well, the result is you do not have the good environment.
I'm gonna
go
fold back. I want to fold back to like going through the walkthrough and tracing down and troubleshooting. Okay, what's working? Why is this not working? Blah blah blah. And this is talking to a computer, and you're like, try this, it's not working, try that, it's not working. And then there's a typo, you know, and it's like, Mr. AI, like computer, like shouldn't you know that that's what, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious about what we get into, with these new tools. Yeah.
I think it's fine, and it would be funny moment that we will have a good time to laugh about the silliness of AI. And if it is an AI, if it is really having intelligence, that AI will be happy as well. That hey, I did a mistake, but I learned it.
It'll be laughing back. It'll be
Yeah.
laughing with us. That'd be great. Oh my goodness.
But the good thing is that AI won't do that mistake again, because it learned that I should check all the script for the typo, proofreading, grammar, everything, then run it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's a good thing. It would be like a one-time mistake, but yeah, why not? Let's
like it
laugh
says,
to each other mistake. Why not?
or like Clippy, Clippy and Microsoft Word, and it's like it seems like you're troubleshooting. Would you like me to check everything for typos and simple errors? And you're like, yes, Clippy, please do that. There's some great science fiction. Oh, was it? What was the? It was the only cool Star Wars one where they all. Oh, spoiler alert. I won't do that. Andor. What's the one? Anyway, they speak to their AI. So the ships are AIs and the robots are AIs, and they speak to them like you would. And it's actually in the first one, because when Han Solo says, "Never tell me the odds," to 3PO, you can tell that the AIs were always spitting out the odds of projections, and Han Solo is just like, "Never tell me the odds." Throwaway line, but it just says
1 in
so
10,000
much.
shoes.
Yeah. Rogue One is the name of the movie. Super great. If you've seen don't watch any Star Wars, just watch Rogue One. So good.
But
Everything
Nirmal,
I love
about
about it.
the Clippy, that was for old generation. I really wonder who remembered. I mean, we remember,
Yeah.
but for past 20 years, many people haven't seen
Yeah.
that.
Harsh is just laughing along but he doesn't know what Clippy is. Oh, he does.
That's
He
a
says he
kind of
does.
insider joke for our generation.
He read about it. He read about it in a book. It's a UX book, and they always talk about Clippy.
The modern youth don't read books; they watch it on YouTube.
That's true.
Or TikTok, or one of these newfangled things.
I just call that a book. Now I've widened the language of it. It's just now called a book. It's like I do say that. It's like, yeah, I'm reading a book. I was like, actually, a book is being read to me, or I'm watching a video of it. But yeah, that's true.
I wanted to add something also. Make sure you're
Sure.
saying with coders and not wanting to talk. I've been following also like some of the Neuralink kind of technology. So it seems like there's going to be eventual connections between AI and neural links where your coder friends don't even need to talk. They'll just communicate, and maybe it will like even stimulate like parts of our brain or something to make us feel better or happy or laugh. And yeah, that's it.
After that, there will be the age of UI, uploaded intelligence. We won't really talk with AI. Actually, we will merge with it.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
Going back to the typo thing. I kind of like it. It's a bug versus feature type of thing. It requires like cultural. It's just like, hey, I'm dealing with a computer. I have to be very precise, and it allows me to be a human because I can be flexible until like all of a sudden I realize that I can't be precise anymore. Like my eyes won't focus. That far. And then I need corrective sort of things. But when there is something about that, like, oh, I'm in this OS, and in this OS, it requires these little things. It's one way of making me feel like, oh, okay, this is okay. The meme of the guy in the burning building with the teacup. This is fine. Like everything just going kaputskis.
By the way, for now, we have some extension for VS Code, like tab 9, which is an AI, like a free version of Copilot. And that tab 9 can find a spelling mistake as well. Although we have other extension for VS Code to check your spelling mistake. And if you are insisting to that, like there is this new word, you can add it to a dictionary and it will check it. So currently we have this extension to check all these things. Like we can add these, but of
Right.
course, again, adding this extension become very cumbersome or bothersome. And regards to those paths, I really recommend when you are going to write your bash script or designing, try to avoid absolute path and try to use it with relative paths. And how you are going to do that with something like default commands or default environment variable, which Adrian mentioned, like $home, or using the PWD command and all its switches. By using that, by leveraging that, your bash script will be relative, not absolute.
Yeah. I think what you said about using, setting the using that PWD command to ascertain, to collect the directory where it is, and then the home, like that's a nice pattern. Yeah.
Newman, I just wanted to say I felt inspired by you the other day.
Oh yeah, nice. Oh, I've got a new set of reading glasses coming, and I'm curious. I hope they look like that. They are shaded a little bit. They're like got like the cool blue screen, whatever. They're like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "How much is it?" And I was like, go for it. Yeah. There we go. Dan's got it.
Don't work with my headphones very well.
Right.
Whereas
right.
you saying about humans interfacing with AI, it reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I know some of you might have read it and some of you haven't, but when Zaphod Beeblebrox had his second head removed, he had the brain put in a jar and it was wired into the Heart of Gold, which is his spaceship. And yeah, so left brain ran the ship.
Right.
And just floated around in a jar.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, it might be time to do those again. I need a good comedy and I need a good science fiction. It's a good summer reading. Should get if we've got the classroom model, like we should do the summer reading list.
Ooh.
And I do. I just, I think we're wrapping up. We close down at noon. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind kicking off the appreciation. Juan's not here, but he inspired me yesterday. Like he's like, look, this is a valuable thing, and I really, and we talked about staking to the stake pool, and then like other things that we can do, because I don't want this to go away. Like this is a valuable thing to me. I'm glad that I've waited to join in until this time, whatever, I was off in other things, but I'm really stoked. Like the people that I really like are here. I love the voices here. And so I just wanted to kick off that sort of appreciation, get that out there.
I just wanted to remind people also sometimes the pen is mightier than the sword, as they say. So I thought about what we talked about yesterday. So I wrote a letter to Cardano Foundation, and it could be a good idea for them to hear more voices from other people in the group too, to share their thoughts and opinions and how it's affected all of us for the better.
Yep. Okay, I've got it down. Yeah, just publicly, and then advocating and how to work in the proposals, like proposal writing, like being involved in that part of it. Yeah.
And I'm also on crypto Twitter a lot, so I see a lot of other stake pools. They're saying what they're doing and asking for help, and and getting people to to delegate to them. And I don't think there's any shame in that, especially for this project.
Yeah.
James.
Thanks. Yeah.
I don't know how you would feel about doing this, but it might be a nice ask of people who are doing the course to stake with your pool as a sign of appreciation.
I mean, yeah, right. It's just even if it's not, you know, it's either stake, you know, stake with the pool, or like, hey, my rewards during this time go. And then it's just sort of like, yeah, you're, you know, like, this is the Cardano, you know, those rewards are to sort of facilitate the network. But what we are doing is facilitating the network in the building function. That's a really good, I think that's a really great idea, Dan. It's just like, here's a contribution, and really kind of put that, like Erza says, like, it's not, you know, like
At the end of the day, James was honest yesterday, and he said the pool is understaked to consistently be producing blocks. But if there's 100 odd people on the course, I don't know, even if they each stake 1,000 ADA, it goes from 1.3 to 1.4 million quite quickly. A lot of people will have more, some might have less.
How much ADA is the minimum for consistent block production?
1.5 million or so.
No, James. I mean, I have delegated to a pool, I mean, for a long time. I mean, that's the kind of dedication to that pool. And that pool has around 47 million ADA. And for three epoch, one after another, we didn't mint one block. Like, the reward was 0. That was really odd. What it happens as well, but we don't know. I mean, the stake pool operator is Iranian, and I know he lives in Netherlands. But I asked him that he said, I don't know. I mean, maybe there is something with the protocol or something. But for 15 days, we didn't get any reward for, like, one single block. We didn't. So I don't know how that algorithm works.
That sounds very unlikely. He really beat the odds.
Yeah.
And that's luck, yeah, right? That's the luck number or whatever in the pool thing.
Where's C3PO when we need him?
Yeah, exactly.
Ask left brain. He'll calculate the improbability of it happening.
Well, hey, appreciation's back. It's these are roots, and I'm excited that we're building them together. We're at time, so if people got to jump, see you soon. Erez, I wanted to show you just one more thing about Demeter to give a more comprehensive answer to your question too. So I want to wrap with that. But if you have to jump off, see you soon. And yeah, thanks for this. This is a really quick note. Basically, the real benefit of Demeter is to save you from the headaches of setting something up locally. Okay. And so if you do have NICs running locally, and I know you've been to battle to get that to work, now that is a better option. And Demeter is built understanding that that's a better option. I think it's right on their homepage. Let's see. Eject. Yeah, this concept, this is one of my favorite things about Demeter. And I hope that in concept, we're sharing the same message here. Like, hey, use this tool, use this scaffolding. And when you don't need it anymore, we encourage you to move on, right? So that's what it says. Hey, look, we give you the tools to build quickly. We can help you scale if you need it. And when you're ready, stop needing us. Eject your project into your own infrastructure anytime, right? So whatever you build in a Demeter instance, once you have NICs running locally, you can use all that code. But it's not limited to NICs, and this is the beautiful thing. So for example, I don't currently use Demeter for anything Plutus development related. Because I have Nix running. I'm happy with that situation locally. However, something like Ogmios is a pain to set up. It's especially a pain to deploy it for use in an application. And so to me, it's incredible. Wow, they offer a hosted instance of Ogmios. And don't worry about what Ogmios does. We'll get to it. This is something we will play with when the time is right. All right. But the simple fact is, all of these things, whoa, Hydra nodes on demand, you say? That's pretty interesting, right? Marlow, like we talked about earlier, all of this is coming online. And so even if I might not need it for the Cardano node or the Nix part, there's other stuff that, depending on where you are in your development journey, it might be something that you want to learn about, but you don't yet feel like you want to run it yourself. Demeter is serving us that. Such a thoughtful team. They're the best. We're so lucky to be building in the same ecosystem as that team.
Yeah.
Any
That's
questions about that?
Were we talking about, maybe it was Dan talking about the sort of the like kind of like not a collaborative mindset, but an open mindset, but just the idea of ejecting a project. It's not like there's a pattern where we get you in and we like, now we're on the hook and it's just like, oh, the thing. It's just like, no, we get it. We don't need, we're here to help. We want to be paid. It's an important service, but we're not going to use that sort of dark kind of pattern to like hook you in and then keep you there because it's just so hard to eject. I'm paying for old hosting because I've got all these wacky, hooks, and I can't. It's just like, well, I could spend a month untangling it all, or I can just pay the 20% premium to do this, and it's just like, ugh, but yeah.
That, we're all going to have our go-to ways of explaining what's different, and for an imperfect way to describe it, right? We're moving from Web 2 to Web 3. However we might describe it, right? But you just summarized one of the critical differences. Web 2 is about capturing your attention and keeping it at all costs, right? Web 3 is about eject buttons.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Speaking of ejecting, I'm ejecting until next time.
We won't keep you here, Newman. You can go.
All right. Enjoy. Have a great time. Bye.
Quasar, what's up?
I just had a call with Fede from TX Pipes, and shared with them the Space Trains Gimbal Labs Game Changer as an IDE partner or collab with Demeter. So yeah, I just want to let you know that conversation happened and it's moving forward.
Awesome.
Yeah, what a wonderful person. What a great conversation we had.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it later, but it was profound.
I'd feel happy to introduce, of course, all of you, but also the TX Pipe team, to family dinner.
Right. Yeah. Well, I told him, earlier in the year, I something came to me and said, you know what, I'm probably going to be in Buenos Aires this year. Like just that little, flash of a moment, and yeah, definitely. I would accept the invitation, and I'd love to do that down in Buenos Aires or somewhere in Spain. Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm gonna stop the recording. Thanks for anybody who tuned in for this, the first half troubleshooting and the second half kind of philosophizing. We appreciate you. Stop by. We're creating spaces and eventually space trains, which are, I'm excited to be a part of. And I think this is a really good way of being. Let's go there together. So